So, we're going to talk today about manifesting your life with gratitude, right? So, tell me, Michelle, it's early in the morning for all of us, right?
It's very early.
And Zelda's here. She says, "Hi, Jody. Good to see you again. All rest and still beautiful as ever. You look awesome. Very grateful for you and your guest. Thank you, Zelda. I love you. Yeah, I am rested and a little lighter. I lose about a pound a day now until
Amen, amen.
yeah, I haven't changed my diet, right? Um, anyways, I'll probably talk a little bit about this today. But we're going to
Yeah.
talk about gratitude and how we can manifest. Why don't you? I would love for everybody to share their stories, whether you're calling into the show. Michelle, you can share, how you manifest with gratitude. And if you're online, share, via messenger, this text thread, how you manifest your life with gratitude. And if you don't know how to do that, tell us that too. We want to know what's going on with you. Um, Fair enough. Michelle, you go first.
Yeah. Well, to me, it is, I say simple. It's not always easy, but it's super simple. Um, I do things like I have a gratitude journal. And so my goal is, and of course, we all miss days from, time to time, whatever, but my goal is every day I write in my gratitude journal. And so for me, it looks simply like a list, like a bullet point list of just things that I'm grateful for today. Um, and and then also throughout the day, I did this. I was traveling a lot over the last 5 days in my car by myself, and so I don't know about you all, but I do some of my best thinking while I'm in the car by myself,
Or the
and
car or the shower or the toilet, right?
yeah, all of the above. Yeah. So I had hours and hours and hours, and I would get thinking about something, and then something would shift. I would have a negative thought, right? And I would catch myself, and I would immediately tell myself, okay, think of something you're grateful for. And so that I could shift my mindset and my attitude. You know what I find too, um, and this definitely goes into manifesting, is when I shift into something negative or
Mhm.
something that is not wanted, if I'm aware or too hyperly aware or focused on something that I don't want, my body changes. So I might tense up. You can feel it, or I can feel it in my body. And then what happens when I shift into a focus of gratitude and I'm looking outside and the sun is shining and I hear the birds and, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that builds that momentum. And it really is that simple, because when we, as we've probably all heard, what we focus on, we attract. And it's the law of attraction. So when we focus on things that we are grateful for, things that we love, things we enjoy, things that we see outside in nature that are beautiful, the universal law of attraction goes to work immediately. And all of a sudden, we start seeing and experiencing more in our life to be grateful for. Because it is exactly like the opposite is true, right? When we wake up in the morning and we stub our toe, going into the bathroom, and, then we trip over the dog, or, an animal has gotten sick in the night, and it just starts to snowball. That is law of attraction as well. So,
Mhm.
which would you prefer? Would you prefer to attract with negativity or gratitude?
Right. And, I want to talk about um, when negative things happen. So I've learned to be grateful for that too. Like you're teaching me what not to do. Right?
And there's always a lesson in there as well.
Exactly. Thank you for the lesson. They're teaching me what not to do and being grateful for the lesson. Zelda, which good morning, sweet sister. And thank you for tuning in this morning. She says she's manifesting mobility in my gratitude journal now. Could not walk once upon a time. So grateful to walk for self and others in similar situations.
Beautiful.
I love how the universe supports the messages that need to be sent and heard. So Zelda, I haven't been able to walk well for about 2 weeks. My heel is in excruciating pain, and it's connected to my kidney health. Yeah, so spoiler, right? Who would have thought to put those two things together? So I'm clearing out my kidneys, which, by the way, Zelda, you can use your Healy for that. And my walking's getting better. But there's, when in traditional Chinese medicine, which I know you're familiar with, Zelda, these pains are connected to our organs. So I don't know what part of your foot, or maybe it's a hip, whatever it is. But my doctor, connected those dots, and I'm clearing out my kidneys. So as you're writing in your journal, right? Do a little kidney cleanse. I am going to talk a little bit about what happened. We're going to do a deep dive because I am so grateful. So my husband and I were living in an apartment. We couldn't find a house when we moved here, and it had 15 smart meters on it. And I just published an article about it in Topeka Health and Wellness magazine. And one smart meter is equivalent to the radiation of 150 cell phones. Those smart meters were on our bedroom wall, our master bedroom wall. And there were 15 of them. And while we slept in there, Andrew went into another room to do his work, and I stayed in the master bedroom to do my work. And so I was in that room, basically not 24/7, but most of the day working. And so when you take a tri-field meter and you measure it, where it's not supposed to be over 0.3, it went over 100, the radiation. So I was basically living in a microwave oven. If you are living in an apartment, you all need to look at that and have it neutralized. And while I use Altera's whole house neutralizers, and I plug them into my wall, and they, set it and forget it, and it works for the circuitry of the house. I don't believe, whether they say so or not, and I love the company, I still love their products, it's not equipped to handle 15 smart meters, which is 2,250 cell phones. Sorry, it wasn't equipped for that. So in this house, we have one smart meter, and I took, of course, I still use my neutralizers, but then I took the little discs, neutralizing discs, and I put it on the smart meter, 5 of them. And in a specific sequence, which I'm now teaching people. And we'll talk about that next week. And I'm just grateful that I had the community reach out to me. I'm grateful that they educated me on what to do, how to cleanse my kidneys and my liver and my spleen and the 4 brain tumors that I had, which was in my pituitary gland, each temporal lobe, and the basal ganglia. I'm grateful that because I'm trained in divine intervention, spontaneous remission, that through God, it was all reversed. The kidneys we're still working on. And I'm grateful to have a new home. And I'm grateful that I'm alive to talk about it. And I'm grateful that I'm going to speak at the Holistic Lifestyle Conference, May 31st in Orlando, Florida, to tell people about it. This is a silent killer. It's equivalent to smoking cigarettes. And so basically, I was a chain smoker. I'm grateful that I get to be the mouthpiece because God, I know, chose me, amongst others, because He knows I'm not quiet or shy. And He knows I'm not going to let other people suffer if they don't want to. And I'm going to make sure that they have a solution. That's what I'm incredibly grateful for today. The gift of life. The gift of life. I remember, Michelle, when we met, I met you when I first got here in December. It was 21. And I was thin, and then I wasn't. And I'm like, I don't get this. I'm gaining weight. Remember, you go, oh, just love yourself where you're at. I'm like, yes, and I'm gaining weight. This is weird. Remember, I'm like, I'm gaining weight. And I'm like, I don't get it. And I'm like hiding my body. And I didn't understand. You guys, I lied in my little video. I said I gained 40 pounds. I gained 50 pounds from EMF alone. And after I used a variety of devices, I bought a few from Amazon. I bought a couple from my friend. I did all sorts of things to neutralize or block EMF. And there is a difference, and we'll talk about it next week. But I already lost 11 pounds. And that's the only change I made. The only change. So if you're having a weight loss issue, tune in next week. Kind of crazy, isn't it, Michelle?
I mean, it is. It kind of blows your mind as to the effects of our environment that so many of us are not even aware of, and these things that make our life, quote, so much easier in so many ways can also cause so much destruction. And yet we can be grateful for so many things. I mean, if it weren't for, these smart meters, there would be a lot less technologically that we would be capable of doing in the time that, it saves us. And yet, in the world of duality, there is also the other side of that, there are negative aspects of that as well. So, obviously, very grateful that you are in a much healthier environment now, and that you were able to figure that out, right? Because
yeah, I mean,
it was not something that was like easy to find at first.
No, I mean, I saw the meters. I had used crystals on the ledge of the wall. We had a neutralizers for the house. I was running Fluffy, which is focus, life force, energy. It's a frequency of love and the frequency of shungite over the longitude and latitude of the house. And honestly, none of that did it. Like, none of it cut it. Because again, there is nothing to offset other than pulling the switch, okay, of the radiation of 2,250 cell phones.
Yeah.
And so there's no shame to any of the manufacturers. I ended up wearing a Faraday baseball cap and a Faraday cape to block everything because my brain was inflamed. You and I went out for lunch and I was wearing that little get up. But my brain was literally inflamed. So, and I didn't send out my normal like invitations this morning. I was just happy to get the show going.
Yeah, we both have been a little bit preoccupied for the past week or so. So
for sure, it's all good.
It is.
So one of the things that I like, in addition to what you do, like with the gratitude journal,
mm-hmm.
if you have a family, right, you can get a jar,
mm-hmm.
a container, make up your own little thing about gratitude and put it, make up your own label for that jar to make it really pretty and exciting and inviting, and leave a pad of Post-it notes and pencils by that jar. And then make sure that you and your partner, husband, wife, children all add to the jar every day. And like you, I just put 3 bullets, always 3. That's my thing. And if I want to do more, no worries, right? But having an attitude of gratitude allows you to manifest literally everything. And yes to the law of attraction. And I think that there's more than our journals and our gratitude. It's about, like what you were saying, catching ourselves in the moment so that we can go, oops, I'm doing some negativity. Look at what I can be grateful for.